on. You watched it. We watched it. We all might as well talk about it together here on this Friday night, Game 3 of the preseason for the Philadelphia 76ers. And we have a post-game show live from the Xfinity Lounge. It's Derek Bodner, Devon Givens. Bree is hanging out with us, President of Basketball Operations. We will effort Kyle Neubeck from the arena to get the check-in, see if he can speak loudly because it was so loud in that building from all the fans that were in there tonight at the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
I've never seen like in section 102 there were rows empty, Devon. Rows.
We're coming to you live again from the Xfinity Lounge. We are presented by our good friends Rothman Orthopedics. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more and do us a favor. You gotta hit that like button, everybody. Hit that like button. Say what's up to all of us. A special shout out to Bree. And let's get started here as the Philadelphia 76ers fall to the Orlando Magic tonight. Final score of 128-98 so far through 3 games. Derek, they are winless in these basketball games. But as I saw someone say it in the chat, I don't care about the wins and the losses. I'm just here for the talent and see how things look. But honestly, despite the loss, the 64-64 first half is where we have to start because that's where it's all about. Tyrese Maxey, Dominick Barlow, Kelly Oubre looking very good in this game, and that's where we should begin because you saw some 3 good performances from them, a few others sprinkled in there from the bench, Oubre Drummond a little bit as well. Your observation from that 64-64 even for the Sixers against basically the entire starting lineup for the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, I mean, the Magic were out without Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner. But outside of that, pretty much started their regular lineup. Like, Boncaro was there, Franz was there, like Bane was playing. None of them huge minutes, but like what you would expect in a preseason game. So it was definitely like, look, when we saw the inactive list of 7 players, and of the 7, like most of them were the guys that you actually care about, you went, oh, this could get ugly. Like I might have to start consuming one of our sponsors, which we'll get to here in the second block. That might have to be my night because this is going to be a tough one to get through. That was not a tough one to get through. Like that was an entertaining first half of basketball. And, I think there were 2 main takeaways from my perspective in the first half. First, Tyrese Maxey just looked a little more like Tyrese Maxey. He was hitting some pretty tough 100%. Threes there. He's been making a couple, I think it was 3 for 7 in the previous game. So the last 2 games, he's shooting the ball better, 3 for 6 here tonight. And he got a couple of good looks at the basket and good creative finishes. Got all the way to the basket a couple cut times. Didn't rely on the floater or the runner quite as much. And I think those 2 were that was one of my 2 major takeaways. And then the other was if you're just going based off of preseason, I don't know how you have Dominick Barlow outside of the rotation right now. And I can't believe I'm saying that because he was a little disappointing in Summer League. I didn't really know what to expect coming in. But he's hustling his tail off right now. And he had... I think he had 6 rebounds in the first half. I think 4 of them. 5 in the first half, I think 4 of them offensive. Yeah. And look, the Sixers, because of their centers, like Joe, you don't want crashing the offensive glass hard because he's going to struggle to get back in transition. Same thing with Drummond. You don't really want him pursuing. I mean, he's still going to pursue the offensive glass, but he's not going to sell out quite as much as he otherwise would because it's tough for him to get back into a play if the other team does get that defensive rebound and starts pushing the ball. So having wings who can actually crash from the perimeter would really help offset some of this rebounding differential. And really outside of who would James Ennis might be the last really good wing offensive rebounder the Sixers have had. It's been a couple of years. Yeah. If he can give them that kind of energy along with the kind of ground he can cover on defense, like he's making a case to be in the rotation, especially when you start comparing to some of the other people he might be competing against, including Justin Edwards, who, look, I think Justin had a better game, and I'm sure we'll get to him pretty soon. But I think on balance throughout the course of the preseason, Barlow has outplayed him. And quite frankly, Barlow has been maybe your second most consistent player in the preseason so far. So you don't obviously look, you're not going to go too far with Barlow. He's got a career, what is this, his 4th year in the league?
4th year.
Right, because 2 with San Antonio, 1 with Atlanta.
And also Dallas.
Okay.
Well, same season, but
yeah.
Dallas. Yeah.
So you don't want to go too far. He's got a body of work that you're going to base your evaluation off of. But based on what he's done, and he's only on a 2-way, so I think they can play, 50 games? Something like that? Yeah. There's a game limit. Mm-hmm. got to be a little careful with there. But he's far and away been the best out of your power forward options. Now, again, your Watford hasn't played yet, so you don't have a full deck. But he's outplayed, I think, Walker. And quite frankly, he's just been one of the two most consistent players on the team.
Like you said, two most consistent, and he's been, I'll put it like this, he's been the best front court player that they have had through the 3 games. Easily the best front court player out of all the other guys. And to your point, when we saw him in the summer, number one, he got there late because he got there right when they were getting ready to start playing basketball, and he had to give it a go. He started, I believe, that first game we were out there in Las Vegas, and it was like, all right, I don't see what they see in this one. And then the summer league just kept going on, and he didn't look all that great. He looked kind of just out there, didn't seem all that into it. But then we came to know him a little bit, and you can tell that that's just his personality.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that because he does go out there and he gives that effort. And from day one, when we were at practice for training camp, the 2 that they had, Saturday and Sunday, Saturday, one of the first names that popped off for Nick Nurse was Dominick Barlow. And we were like, here we go again. But what did he do? Why was he so good? And he just said he was all over the place. The ball finds him. He's lively. He's giving the energy, the effort, things that we've talked about that the Sixers lacked last season. That was a big part of their 24-win campaign. And he, so far, is showing some of those things that honestly may have helped them win a game or 2 or 3 more just because of those extra rebounds early on in the season that may result in that extra possession that will result in that close win that you just needed to start to pile up last season. So through the first 3 games, starting off, he started all 3 of them at the power forward position. As Derek pointed out, having that performance in the first half with the 5 boards, 4 of them offensive rebounds. He's tipping basketballs. He's getting on the floor for these 50-50 balls, and he's making the extra pass. He knows exactly who he is, as we talked about, from those 2 Abu Dhabi games. And that has traveled back from Abu Dhabi, back here to Philadelphia. The same thing. He is the one that you don't have to call plays for. He's just out there hustling, giving that effort, and the ball will find him, the fingertips on the basketball or just securing it in general himself. He's looked really, really good. And when we talked about it, if Justin Edwards is not careful, if he doesn't knock down those shots, if he doesn't defend the way that we're seeing Barlow because of that length, defend on that other end of the floor, he might have to be worried a little bit about those minutes. I'm not saying that he's going to lose them for the entire season, but the one that's going to get the first nod is probably Barlow because he looks that good. And his hands are good, Derek, while you don't have to, again, run plays for him, but maybe Tyrese Maxey is running a specific play and he's cutting along the baseline. That's a secure catch right there from Dominick Barlow. He's squeezing the basketball. He's finishing at the rim. He caught one on the baseline and did exactly that on a nice pass, and he got a 2-handed dunk right there on the baseline off of that pass. So for guys that we've talked about so many times doing that and then fumbling the basketball, not knowing what to do around the rim, he shows some finishing around the rim in these first 3 games that I, frankly, am a little bit surprised by what he has done. And then again, just to make sure that we clarify this a little bit more, he has done this twice against the New York Knicks and now against the Orlando Magic when they had their starters out there. Nick Nurse and the coaching staff has left him out there for the duration of the game where he's playing 25 to 30 minutes. But it's really the work that he's doing against the starters of the Knicks and the Magic that will earn him. And you see it in the chat where so many are saying, Barlow is that guy. Barlow is playing really well. Barlow is surprising me. He's doing so against regular starters. And when we say, yes, it is just the preseason, but this is when it matters and when it counts for players like him, where as we talk about Ace Bailey and these rookies and say, all right, it's only 1 game, it's only 2 games, it's only 3 games, and it's the preseason. These matter, though, for players like him to try to sneak onto a roster and secure a regular season spot. And as we've seen with the Sixers over the last couple of years, turning those 2-way contracts into standards by the time we get to the deadline in March.
Yeah. No, and look, and it is a good, like, it's preseason. You always have to remember that. Like, it's you don't want to overreact to anything. You really don't want to react to much. Like, you shouldn't change your evaluation based off of much. But for a player who is, first of all, like, I do think a lot of these 2-way players are context dependent and probably even more so need dependent, right? Like, Barlow has very obvious flaws, specifically with the shot, that's tough to fit. but he has strengths that the Sixers desperately need. So when you get on a team who desperately need your both your position and your strengths, if you then show out, it gives you a stronger chance to make a case for playing time and give you a chance to have further chances to prove yourself. And he's taken that opportunity and done pretty much everything you could have hoped for. Does it mean it's going to translate? No, of course not. Like when you get to the actual regular season and defenses are actually gearing up to try to not only, stop you, but in the case of a role player like Barlow, to be able to take advantage of your weaknesses and like really make your teammates like difficult, that's going to be a bigger and bigger deal. But he's doing everything he can in the context and the environment that he's playing in, and he's showing you what his strengths are. Like, again, in the regular season, when you get scouted, opponents are going to show you what your weaknesses are. Here is an opportunity to show the Sixers what your strengths are and why you're making a case. It is like I have been really, really impressed, and I didn't have a ton of expectations. Of course you don't. He's on a two-way contract. You still have to come in there with some level of skepticism, but he truly is doing everything he can. And in a game like tonight where you're down 4 starters and you're just looking for somebody to give you a jolt of energy and a spark and make this game A, competitive, and B, just quite frankly entertaining, I thought he did that in a big way.
Yes, he did. So Dominick Barlow, in his minutes tonight against the Orlando Magic, he finished with 29 minutes, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 1 steal. I committed 4 personal fouls. I don't care. He's just out there. He's doing his hustle. He is our player of the game, Dominick Barlow. And this is the dunk right there in that graphic. Great job from Bree. That's the dunk along the baseline. And that's Wendell Carter right there. This wasn't against nobody. And even if it was Goga Bitadze, that's still a good backup center. He's had some success in this league for a while. Dominick Barlow is earning his time right now on the floor. We're not overreacting. We're properly reacting to a player that had to do this in order to be a part of what this roster desperately needs. And he's taking full advantage of this opportunity right now. Dominick Barlow, our player of the game tonight against the Orlando Magic. Just to kind of also tail off of what you said for Tyrese Maxey, he was just good, man. Like you said, he looked like Tyrese Maxey in that first half. 17 points in that first half. He was 7 for 14, 3 for 6 from the floor, but he scored at every level. He finished at the rim. He made his 3-pointers. He had some mid-range work that he got done there as well. He tried to back down. Who was the starting point guard tonight for the Orlando Magic? Tyus Jones.
Which that's a matchup you can back down.
Yeah, you can. And that's why he did it, right? And he had a little step back fadeaway that he took. And you just saw Tyrese Maxey. He looks like himself. And he's just gearing up now for the regular season. If he plays next Friday against Minnesota, he probably will, but he doesn't need to. But this is the Tyrese Maxey that you expect to see when things are real in 12 days against the Boston Celtics. And that's good to see because all the things that we had to talk about where he wasn't good in the beginning, he bounced back and he looked really good carrying this basketball team as best as he could. After things just started to go off the rails and everybody was in and out of the lineup and then shutting him down eventually, you need him badly. And we've talked about this a ton on the show. You badly need him to be Tyrese Maxey once again. And while that was not Jalen Suggs opposite him, it's not like we haven't seen him do that to Jalen Suggs when he's out there. He was doing that to Franz Wagner. He would get the switches with Paolo Banchero. And he did the same thing that he always does. And it was very, really, really good to see him out there once again. Number one, playing in the game because he doesn't really have to, but he's a gamer. He wants to be out there. That's why we'll probably see him next Friday for a few minutes in the first half. But he did look like himself out there once again. So encouraging just to see Maxey just being Tyrese Maxey.
I am interested in this Orlando team when they get Suggs in a lineup and you've got Suggs and Bane because obviously they paid such a high price to get Bane, like a really, really high price for a good player and a player who addresses one of their key needs and real weaknesses of the team. But having those two in the backcourt, I think that's actually a pretty good pairing, especially if Suggs can get that shooting back up to where it was 2 years ago. I'm curious where this Magic team goes. And then you throw in Jason there as well. They've definitely added some options. And we'll see how Jace holds up when the regular season gets here. Like he's got a lot to overcome on defense. Offensively, he looks good.
He looked pretty good. And Tyrese Maxey went right at him twice immediately because it was like, he can't stay in front of me right now. He's not ready for this. Quickly, though, when you talk about the Bane and Suggs backcourt, the underrated thing is we already know how good Suggs is as an all NBA defender. Desmond Bane is not bad.
No, he's not a bad
He's
defender.
not bad. Yeah.
And he's another guy who's like, from a physical perspective, like he doesn't have like a huge wingspan. Like he's got some limitation defensively, but he definitely puts in the effort. He definitely,
and he's so strong.
Yeah, he's
He
strong.
can bump you off
Yeah,
your
yeah,
spot
yeah.
where he lacks, and to your point of not having the wingspan, but he can put that forearm on you, or at least get that shoulder into your body to cut off, and at least bump you off of the angle that you thought you had, where he bumps you a little bit, where maybe you have to a few inches away, where now it's not the same drive that you figured you might have had. That's going to be an underrated defensive backcourt for them if they can get it together.
Well, especially because they then have so much size in that front court.
Yeah, they have so much, man. So interesting to see how that plays out. A lot of people have them in the top 4 projected as the top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. Let's see where it goes. We take our first pause here. We come back. We talk a little bit more about what we saw. Kelly Oubre, his first really good game of the preseason, and he looked pretty solid out there, making a case once again. He played, others haven't. I'd imagine he's still in the lead to have one of those starting spots. We're still 12 days away from finding that out, but not a bad time for him to have a good game against the Orlando Magic with what he finished with. We'll talk about Kelly Oubre, a few others that played well in this one. It's the PHLY Sixers post-game show presented by, as always, Rothman Orthopedics. When we come back, we'll dive into it a little bit more. Sixers preseason action against the Magic we're discussing on the PHLY Sixers podcast.
And guys, there's a lot of basketball coming up here. You want to make sure that when you sit down to watch a game, you are in a spot where it is going to be an enjoyable watching experience. Because every now and then you get over to a friend's house, you're ready to sit down, watch a game. It's not your own home. You don't have control over it. And the setup is a mess. Lagging, buffering, whatever it is, the watching experience stinks, and it really kills your own personal experience of watching the game. Call yourself a basketball fan, you have to get Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. You can find the best games and your favorite teams all in one place. The way that you watch is next level. You've got all the action right in your living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K. It's so clear that it feels like you're in the arena. On top of that, you get real-time notifications and live stats right on your TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. Next game day, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
And it's October, everybody. While you're sitting there and you're watching those games that Derek is talking about, ice pack on your shoulder, leg up on the couch, ice pack on the knee or on the ankle. You know why? Because that joint or muscle pain is keeping you from doing the things that you enjoy. And Rothman Orthopedics is a place for you to go, whether it's walking the dog, working out, or just moving comfortably throughout the day. It's time to get the care that you deserve at Rothman Orthopedics. You'll find expert treatment for injuries and chronic conditions alike, with personalized care focused on helping you move better and sooner. Rothman proudly serves dozens of communities across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Florida with 30-plus convenient offices, urgent cares, and walk-in centers. Visit RothmanOrtho.com/PHLY to schedule your appointment. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers post-game show here for game number 3 against the Orlando Magic. Final score, blowout, 30-point blowout, but, you know, it was closer than that.
I got a text.
It's closer than that.
I got a text from someone, friend, watching a show, and he's like, guys, come on with that headline. They lost by 30 points. I'm like, they were basically pulling people out of the stands in that fourth quarter. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if Malcolm Hill and Kennedy Chandler can't keep that game close. Like, come on.
No.
Like, when the Sixers had one starter compared to 4 for the Magic, they took them to a tie at halftime. Like, that score doesn't matter.
It's
come
just
on.
preseason.
Yes.
And that 30-point finish does not indicate how the game would. Again, we were talking about the first half because 66-66, that was a fun first half. Tyrese Maxey with the 17, Barlow putting up the 9 and 5, whatever he had there in the first half. Kelly Oubre playing well also, contributions from some others. That's where it was, where, again, you're just looking at the talent, trying to evaluate, and you don't have Grimes, Edgecombe, Embiid, George, Watford. Those guys weren't available. What did you expect against the Orlando Magic starters? You got much better with it 66 in the first half. Pretty solid performance overall. All right, let's get to Kelly Oubre because he played 18 minutes for the Sixers tonight, starting all 3 games through the preseason. 12 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block as well. And 1 for 2 from 3, got to the free throw line 6 times, converting 5 of those 6. But he just brought energy tonight. And while we've talked about the second best player being Dominick Barlow, second best scoring option for the Sixers tonight was Kelly Oubre. And he did some things, Derek, where it wasn't, it's the other side of the Kelly Oubre that we always say. 1 minute it's the 3 for 12 Kelly Oubre. The next day it's the 7 for 12 Kelly Oubre. And while it was 3 for 7, you know what you saw, and that's what it looked like today, that 7 for 12 Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, well, and 3 for 7, but he got the line 6 times, and he made a corner 3. Like, that's a much more efficient version of Kelly than we're used to seeing. And, look, that 3, he talked about it for a training or at media day, where, like, he's had problems with his fingers. He's had problems with his hands that was impacting his shooting. Okay, well, then now you need to make shots. And look, nobody's expecting 40% Kelly Oubre.
No.
But if you can get that to 34, 35%, that fundamentally changes the equation and makes it so if you get to the playoffs, and trust me, I understand the if that I'm putting in front of that, it's a huge qualification. But if you get there, defenses have to at least think, give it a second thought before they send that double. And that, to me, like, it's great to see they made 3. It's great to see him get to the free throw line. But it really is that jumper. And that one he made from the corner looked pretty good. But to your point, the effort was there, and the effort, I think, is mostly there. I think the first preseason game, I thought he struggled on defense a little bit. But for the most part, I don't question Kelly's effort. That'll be there. Fewer bad decisions, more made 3s, and Kelly's got a huge spot in the rotation. I do think what Nick said about getting VJ in the starting lineup, I think that's interesting. If VJ is in, it's weird, right? If they started Jared McCain at that 2 spot, I'd be like, all right, put Kelly in there. Get a little more defensive versatility, a little more size, a little more switchability. But if you put VJ in there because of the questions on his shot, then it's tough to put Kelly in there as well. Mm-hmm. So I almost feel like what they do with that VJ decision is going to drive a lot of what I think they should do at that small forward spot.
What did you think of his drives tonight? Because oftentimes we'll see his drives to the basket and they can be a little bit out of control with the double pump in the air, the pump fake in general. What did you make of what his decision-making was by putting the ball on the floor and his finishes tonight?
It was better.
Yeah.
It was better for sure.
I thought so.
Yeah. And again, I think you're going to see a little bit of that with the foul drawing. No, I think for the most part, and that's another thing he brought up, at media day, like he went with his trainer, Drew Hanlon. He's like, hey, these are the possessions where you're playing brain dead. And if you stop doing that, you're going to be much more effective. I thought this for the most part was a game where he played more under control. When he attacked, it was a good decision to attack. And I hope to see more of it.
And his defense, as you talked about, was much better. It was highlighted by one of the steals, the breakaway opportunity that he had for the dunk. Then he had another one where he was fouled really hard by Franz Wagner. That resulted in a flagrant 1, got to the free throw line. And as a result of just the hard work, the hustle type of plays, the defense that you're alluding to, that's also just going to keep him on the floor, because if we're still talking about the same 3 guys in the starting lineup, then that 4th and 5th, as we've talked about, who are going to be those other 2, where if there's any indication of what Nurse had to say about Edgecombe maybe having a lead right now of one of those 2 spots, then again, it's up to Grimes and Oubre of who's going to fill that out. But even still, Derek, because of where they are right now and the questions that we have about Paul George and how soon he'll be back, Kelly Oubre is probably by default going to be in the starting lineup. Yeah. Because if Dominick Barlow is getting a power forward run, and then you have, let's say, Embiid is there, but Embiid is out there with Barlow, Maxey, and Edgecombe, it's most likely going to be Kelly Oubre, at least for right now, because Grimes hasn't done anything yet. Paul George is not available. You're probably going to go. I mean, as much as we talked about that option of the 3-guard lineups, there's a real good chance, though, that he does lean into Kelly for that because of the versatility as that 2-way defender that you speak of with that length. Now, with Barlow being there at that power forward position at 6'8", and what he does with bringing those intangibles and all that effort play that he brings out there, maybe you then slide Kelly Oubre to the bench, bring him off the bench, let him kind of run that second unit a little bit, because he's going to be out there with Grimes or Maxey, whomever is still out there, but he's going to be a key contributor to that second unit. This is why you continue to see Kelly Oubre in the mix all the time. Nick Nurse, he loves him. Nick Nurse, he loves Nick Nurse back, called Nick Nurse a rock star. And the guy's also in the final year of his deal. and he's been pretty good these last 2 years here. So if he's going to continue to get these 2-3 year deals at decent numbers, he's, regardless of what his role is as a starter or a six man, he's got to come in there and he's got to play hard at all times. He has to.
Yeah, and they really do need his defensive versatility.
They do.
Like that's a big thing. I just wish when you're going through the options and it's like we're talking about VJ, talking about Kelly, talking about Barlow, and it's like throw Walker in there. I'm like, man, I just wish one of these role players could shoot. I really just wish you had one more capable, reliable knockdown shooter out of the group. And I get it. If you did, they wouldn't be on two-way contracts. Or in Kelly's case, you wouldn't have signed him for a minimum 2 years ago. It just makes everything so difficult.
It does. It does. But Kelly Oubre played really well today. So we got to give him his props for that. As we keep it going, this is the preseason. We have to run through some of the players that stood out to us. And with it, I saw some people talking about Bona, but also Andre Drummond played well. So when we talk about that center position, Derek, Bona with 15 minutes, he had 6 points, 3 blocks, 6 boards. He changed a couple of other shots. Even he had the 3 blocks. If you guys remember, there were 2 plays that happened that resulted in blocks from 2 other players. One with Bona jumping in the air, keeping his arm straight up. Kelly Oubre from the backside, getting that 1 block that is recorded for him. Justin Edwards also had another block because of what Bona did as well by helping out in that play. So even though in the box score he has 3 blocks, he played better than, I think, defensively than what we've seen in the preseason, these 2 other preseason games against the Knicks. This was his best performance, and defensively, he was under control in this one, didn't get in too much of foul trouble, even though he finished with 3. Didn't get in too much foul trouble, and he looked like the Adem Bona that we saw at the end of the season last year.
Yeah, I thought, even though he only had, I think he had 3 defensive rebounds, I thought he wasn't out of position quite as much as he was before.
First one, he grabbed it, and he was like, he heard us talking about it. He grabbed it and didn't let it,
So for him, I really do think a lot of the rebounding problems, like there's some that are just outside of his control to a degree. Like he doesn't have great hands. He just doesn't. Flat out, he has to get better at it. And then there's a whole lot of decision-making rebounds that he misses, whether it's going for a block, which is probably the primary cause, or sometimes just over pursuit, trying to get back into a play. Like I think he trusts the fact that he can jump out to the perimeter, make a contest, and then get back. And sometimes he'll just over pursue on the back, and a long rebound will go right over his head. So I think there's a lot of learning the art of rebounding. And quite frankly, Drummond's probably a really good one too.
I was about to say he's with one of the best of all time.
But he's also competing against him for minutes, so I don't really know. I think Drummond's a good, mentor even for somebody who's trying to take his minutes, but you never really know.
Yeah,
But
especially in the contract year.
Yeah. But you do there is an art to rebounding, and there's he's got to learn how to track that ball, and he's got to know specifically which blocks to go for and which ones to stay on his feet. I think he'll get there. I will say the first 2 preseason games were pretty massively disappointing on that end. I think today was a step in the right direction. I do agree with you defensively. He seemed like he was altering more shots than he was earlier in the preseason. He was not out of position as much as he was. And the stat line's not going to jump off of the page, but I think he was a better version of himself. And quite frankly, the version that I think we were hoping for when the preseason started.
It's just not consistent enough.
No,
it
it's
needs to be consistent.
Yeah,
it needs to be.
The energy is consistent, but the decision making and the positioning is definitely not.
Yeah, the end result is not always what you want it to be, and he needed a good one today, Derek, because this was also Andre Drummond's best game too, where he had 8 points in 13 minutes, 3 for 4 from the
8
floor.
8 points. Where did 2 of those shots come from,
4
Devon?
boards, 2 assists, a steal. And count them 2. We need now we're going to have a tracker that we're going to have during the season for one thing. We might need an Andre Drummond 3-point tracker, Bree, because he was 2 for 2, and he has the celebrations for the made threes. We know about the one where he turned and looked at the bench. While we made fun of him, at least it hit the rim and wasn't an air ball. But he made 2 threes tonight, man. And look, all right, he made 2 threes to get up to his 8 points. But outside of that, he was active on the glass again. He was doing the Andre Drummond stuff. He had 2 offensive rebounds out there on the floor. You can tell when we talked about seeing him at media day and he looked lighter, and then he eventually told everybody that he lost and shed a few LBs. You could see that because I remember one particular play where they had the ball, they got the rebound. He sprinted in the middle of the floor to have defenders running with him to kind of open up the middle of that lane in that fast break opportunity for the Sixers. It wasn't about, I didn't care what the end result was at that point. It was the mere fact that he sprinted down the middle of the floor like we see Bona do, rim to rim on that particular play. He looked better today than most of these guys look overseas.
He did. He did look better. Am I going to say that I trust?
Just say he looked better, Derek.
I did. I said those were the first words out of my mouth. Look, I still worry. He doesn't move all that well. He had one possession early in the first quarter, I think, midway through the first quarter.
Yeah.
Where he tried to hedge out on the perimeter, and he had no prayer to get back.
I can't do that.
And I do worry. Like, there's so much with the preseason where it's like, all right, look, he's moving better. He's not moving great. Like, he can't change direction all that quickly. He doesn't get off the ground quickly, but he's moving better. He's giving better effort. And I think in preseason, when you give effort, that shows, like, I think that can cover up the lack of game planning that's going on. Like, when I worry that when a regular season starts, teams are going to know how to attack them, and the limitations athletically are going to be there. And I also worry that he's going to keep shooting threes. And as much of a party trick as it is in the preseason, I'm not sure I'm there for that for regular season. Andre Drummond 3-point shooter.
Derek, I agree with you on that, man. Just like settle
What
down,
is he, like,
man.
3 for 5 in the preseason or something now?
Yeah. And they've been good looks. And
So here's what I'll say, because I don't like I said, I'm still skeptical. Skeptical is what I'll say. Like, I'm impressed with what he's done in preseason, but I'm skeptical. Or impressed with what he did today.
I was going to say, are you impressed overall? Or
No, just today.
All right, tonight he was really good.
I do think he was out of shape last year, and I do think the toe impacted him. Now, what percentage of his decline is related to that? That's where the question is going to come in. And I can't answer that right now. And besides the fact that, like, he's a year older now, too. So even if he's in better shape, what is he, like 30?
32?
33? Something like that.
Somewhere.
Regardless, like, he's getting to that point where, especially with big men, like big,
32.
heavy
He
set.
just turned 32 in August.
That drop off can be pretty steep and pretty quick. And I do worry a little bit. And we'll see. I'm hopeful.
So Tom Jackson agrees with you in the chat. Tom says Drummond was out of shape last year, got winded very easily, then injured. He'll be better this year. So at worst, Derek, here's the thing. You have two solid options behind Joel Embiid where you didn't know about Adem Bona a year ago. He's still not a fully formed backup center in this league that you can trust all the time, but he brings a different type of center position than Drummond does, even when Embiid is playing, where you can go in either option, and at worst, you have two guys that are, at best, solid backup fives that bring different things, but in the end, it's about the defense and the rebounding from both of them to help things out.
Yeah. Look, I'm burned by last year, and I'm concerned.
Listen, I'm not yelling at you for that. Not yelling at you for that. It was just about tonight.
Look, he's got one more game to launch threes, because that was entertaining. That was legitimately entertaining. But man, if he does the Steph Curry thing while missing a shot in the regular season, I'm going to lose my mind.
All right, let's take our final pause. We'll try to check in with Kyle Neubeck from the arena as well. And we need to talk about two rookies and a second-year man, plus the super chat that we have going on. We'll tell you about something else here at PHLY that we've been talking about all week. All of that. Final break right here is the post-game show. Sixers fall by 30 to the Orlando Magic. So what? We saw some good stuff in this game. We're discussing it right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Yes, it's the post-game show, and we are going to be talking a lot about this group right here, Bet365, throughout the season as part of our picks that we always do, and before the games when we do our pregame show. And right now, unfortunately, your baseball team is done. Yes, your football team lost as well on the same night. But what you can do on Sunday, you can sit back, and whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. It's part of the 90 million users worldwide. You are part of them. If you are not, you need to go and sign up. And you can just simply go Sunday and enjoy yourself with the Sundays, same game parlays. You can see yourself with the Sunday offer, placing a qualifying parlay bet totaling $20 or more on Sunday's NFL games. Get up to $25 in bonus bets. Terms and conditions certainly apply. Download the app, use code PHLY365, and when you sign up, and new customers, you get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose, sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit 10, place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. That's win or lose. Don't worry about it. Just sign up, Place that bet for 5. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Guys, y'all remember when BG strip sacked the GOAT for Philly's first ever Super Bowl win? Of course you do, especially after last night. You got to reminisce about old times a little bit after watching what we did yesterday. Well, now BG is bringing us his Crooked T strip sack pack so we can savor the flavor. It's big, it's heavy, and it's juicy. It's the kind of pack you want to show off. You already know Crooked Tea is 0 sugar and all flavor. And the strip sack pack is stuffed with 24 cans and collectible trading cards by Jordan Spector. Some cards are even signed by BG himself. Every case is packing heat. From the fridge to the tailgate, this is one sack you're going to be proud to display. So grab yours today at a store near you or on Go Puff. And for our guy BG, we had to send a shout out to the Philly area bars carrying Crooked Tea. Thank you for showing the love. Sport and Social in Allentown, Garage Fishtown, City Tap in Logan Square, Wicked Wolf on Chestnut. Go check them out for game day or a night out and tell them that PHLY Sports sent you.
We got to welcome you back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show. Sixers fall to the Orlando Magic. One final preseason tune-up next Friday at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And as we have your attention right now, as always, we appreciate it. We want to let you know that you have through the weekend, everybody, to become a diehard member at our special introductory prices. Two of them, $36 intro offer for the limited edition diehard t-shirt plus full membership perks, and the $59 hat offer, limited branded Bills diehard hat while supplies last. That is a hot hat. It's going fast. Derek has it. Kyle has it. I saw Nick having it in the office here as well. You need yours as well. After the bye week, you can wear that Kelly green to the link, supporting your football team as they get back to their winning ways. So go sign up. You have through 11:59 Sunday night to sign up to take advantage of this introductory offer. Once again, $36 for the t-shirt and all of the perks as a diehard member, and $59 with the hat and the membership. Allphly.com. Stories all over the place from each beat. All the teams in action. Unfortunately for the Phillies, they are not. But Jim Salisbury is still writing things postseason to let everybody know what's going on with the baseball team. With all of that being said, go become a diehard member. Discord asks access as well. Allphly.com. Go sign up. You have until Sunday night, 11:59, to take advantage of this great offer. By the way, Kyle already has up his instant reactions from the game. If you want to read his instant observations from the game, the good, the bad, the ugly, got to go to allphly.com. If you're still wondering what's going on with the $8.7 million qualifying offer from Quentin Grimes and you want some more details, this guy to my left, right on the screen, Derek Bodner wrote a detailed breakdown of what everything looks like for Quentin Grimes.
About the luxury tax.
Luxury tax ducking. He needs now $1 to put into the jar because even though it's not that jar, he keeps doing it. So we have to put that for him.
Well, we were talking about before the game, like my way of sneaking in the luxury tax. I forget who it was. Somebody in here talked about Kennedy Chandler making the team.
Yeah.
That ain't happening because they're not rostering a 15th roster spot because why, Devon? So to make it easier to duck the tax.
Got to duck the tax, man. Go sign up allphly.com to read all of those things there on our website. All right. Kennedy Chandler may not make the team. By the way, he have 16 points off the bench. He looked all right tonight.
No, he can get to his
much
spots.
better. He looked much better
spots
in this game, too, than he did in the first two games. We'll see him a lot in Delaware. Maybe we'll have some stuff there for you when it comes to the Blue Coats, Kennedy Chandler, and all of that. With that, though, I want to talk to you while we try
Let me just ask you real quick, though. On last night, I know we're not PHLY Phillies.
Oh, but we are Phillies people here.
In this run, this core run, was this the toughest loss for you? Because I think some people were overreacting. Like, this wasn't as tough on me as 2011. I know in 2011 you had 2008 in the back pocket, so like maybe it didn't hurt some people as much. But watching Howard go down and just knowing that that team to me felt like the best team in baseball by a long shot, and watching them lose like destroyed me for a little while because you knew that era was over. Like you just felt it in your bones.
The Diamondbacks one bothered me most.
Okay,
I think of this core
of this group,
of this
this run,
because just like the Dodgers were most likely better than the Phillies this year. Most likely.
It was close, though. It was like a 55-45 type thing. 60-40 maybe.
But there's a very good chance that the Dodgers were just simply better than the Phillies. They're defending champs, all of that stuff, even though they should have won game 1.
Yeah.
Game 2, whatever it was, whatever. We should be getting ready for game 4 tomorrow. I mean, we should have been getting ready for game 4 based on it being 1-1 and then whoever took over 2-1 and heading back for game 5 tomorrow. But that being said, the Arizona Diamondbacks won. That one bothered me the most because they were the team that came out of nowhere. Yeah. You were already up, and you should have won that series. Yeah. Just bottom line, you should have won that series.
See, I think maybe this was just cope, but like I felt like I had more time with this group, so like it was like, all right, like this
never know how much time.
No, I know, but like this feels like something. This could change, and even if it doesn't change, like you've just lost belief in the group.
And again, you don't know how many more. You don't know how many more you have because now this is what year 4 of this run. Year 4 of this run. We've saw them lose in so many different ways, from the World Series to the CS where they lose, to last year losing to the Mets, and now this year losing to the Los Angeles Dodgers. You cannot keep running it out there the same when you're regressing now. You still look really good in the regular season where everybody's all excited and thinking you can go and make all that noise in the postseason, but they haven't. They keep going down a notch. They keep going down one step each year. And the Diamondbacks one was the problem for me because you just don't know. You never know.
Here's the only thing I'll say, too, and then we'll get to Kyle.
All right.
Look, Kerkering play was a disaster. Like, you could, like, Real Muto was pointing at first base. You can't make that play. Completely just froze in the moment. But if I was ranking, like, the 10 people who are most at blame for them not playing baseball tomorrow, he doesn't make the list. When you get that kind of a pitching effort to what was... Like, when you have going against that lineup, you get that kind of pitching effort really across all 4 games, and your top of your lineup goes 1 for 14. Like, that was an absolute disgrace. And it's a shame that, like, you scored 1 run in 11 innings. I understand the pitcher made the error, but that should not have gotten to that point.
And as Terrence said, Ohtani was 1 for 17.
Those last 4 innings, like, they weren't even making contact. No. Man, they could have played 17 innings. I don't think they're scoring another run.
Oh, man. All right, let's go down to the arena and check in with our guy on the Xfinity Mobile hotline from the Xfinity Mobile arena, and that is one Kyle Neubeck joining us as we talk about a 0 for 3 last 24 hours, man. 0 for 4.
0 for 4,
Flyers lost 2. Yeah. So, I mean, it was just, you can't.
0 for 3.5. We can't. This isn't a real game.
Preseason. Yeah, you're right. All right. Fair point. But, we won't talk about the Birds. We'll let that one just live.
Oh, my God. We'll
let Bo and those guys and Fran and handle that. Let them.
After the Hurts interception and the Giants scored the next one, it was like 34-17 or whatever. I'm like, I'm done for sports for the night. I'm done.
Yeah, I was out. I started watching something else as I was cleaning up at home. All right, while we wait for Kyle right now, let's just kind of talk about quickly. Janai Broom played 5 minutes tonight, where Barlow was at the 4. You also had Barlow and Walker on the floor at the same time, but with Broom at the 5 early in the game, in the first half, in the second quarter in particular. I thought he looked pretty good because, he was going against Wendell Carter. He wasn't going against nobody, and Bataze going against those guys. He was playing the 5, and he looked okay out there at the 5 position, offensively, doing what he does with it and understanding where his jump hook, his baby hook comes from, the footwork in general. I thought he looked okay in the first half. Second half, going against the second unit, once again, it was just more of, he's playing against the second unit. How am I really supposed to evaluate this when I want to see him against some others? And I thought he acquitted himself pretty well in the first half.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought defensively he was stronger than he had been earlier. And that was really, because like you look at the stat line, missed a bunch of shots. The three-pointer hasn't been there, which we've talked about a bunch. Like,
I think it's going to take some time.
It's going to take some time. And look, that's an adjustment. Like those extra couple of feet matter. And especially for bigs, it can take a little bit of time to get that back. But defensively, I thought he was better. And that's an area where, look, as much as he needs that shot on offense, he needs to be able to contribute in ways that he was able to contribute in college defensively. I thought he was better tonight. And it's a tough spot to evaluate him with. Like, it'll be a little bit easier, I think, when he's playing a more consistent role as maybe that third string, couple minute per game, 10 minute per game kind of guy. But yeah, I thought he was I thought he was better.
Yeah, he's much, much better. All right, let's get to the Xfinity mobile call-in line at the arena. We check in with the fourth member of our show here, and that is Kyle Neubeck checking in with us. Kyle, first time all season we get to do this. See you got there, a nice backdrop, nice spot there for you. And you had a lot of room, too, because I was messing with Derek with the crowd that based on how I saw it from here. But as you pointed out in your post-game story, Dominick Barlow just continues to play really well, where he's going to force the coaching staff to really make a decision on what it looks like on opening night. No Paul George. We'll see where Trendon Watford is, but he's really pushing for some of those power forward minutes with the play that he's had through these 3 games.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to play by necessity, right? He's one of the only guys who plays the position on the roster. And, whatever you thought coming in about, hey, Trendon Watford is probably leader in the clubhouse for these types of minutes, this guy does what they need out of the position, right? He can rebound the basketball. He's athletic. He's got prototype size. He's got the things that they ostensibly need out of that spot, and he's done it each and every game. This is not a one-off thing. This is not like hey, he did it against exclusively backups. He also did it tonight against an Orlando team that is playing most of their guys and played most of their real guys 20-plus minutes. And the whole thing is like, hey, we're all 6'8", athletic, and are going to defend and rebound, right? And so for him to look as good as he did in the early stages of this game before it kind of turned into a circus all around, we'll call it charitably, I think is a very encouraging sign for him. And Nick Nurse said after the game, there's a very real chance he is in the night 1 rotation based on how he's played so far.
Kyle, we haven't really talked about this guy too much yet in this show, so I'm going to start off with that. Justin, again, tough shooting night, 2 for 8. Looked like he made a couple of decent passes there in the first half to at least contribute, but you're probably not going to ask him to create all that much off the dribble anyway. Overall, what did you make of his performance, and did you get anything encouraging in this one, considering how much he struggled the first 2?
Yeah, and the passing was good, right? Not many times you're going to see Justin Edwards put up a 5-assist game. I love the one, although it's funny that it ended up in Andre Drummond's hands for one of his 2 threes of the night. He had a nice short roll pass to the corner, which, do you really care about Justin Edwards on the short roll? Maybe not, because he's not going to be asked to do that a whole lot, right? Most of the time he's going to be a spacer and attacking closeouts, but I don't know what's going on with the shot, man. It's not just that he's missing, right? He's shooting air balls at times.
Yeah.
He's shooting shots that are like nowhere close. And, you assume he'll find his level, because I think we all probably believe that he's a better shooter than he's showing. At least I hope that we all believe he's a better shooter than he's showing. I hope the Sixers certainly believe that. But yeah, I don't really know what to make of it, because the shots are not dramatically different from the ones he'd normally take. And I don't think we've seen a lot of growth from him, as an off-dribble guy either.
And Kyle, when we talk about that one play to Drummond, where Drummond made that 3, I honestly thought in the moment, because of his struggles, I didn't like the decision-making, because I thought he had a shot there in the paint. And then to know your personnel of who you're passing the ball to in the corner. And while Drummond is willing to take that shot, and on that when he made it, I thought the better opportunity right there, especially to get yourself going to see the ball go through the net, was for him to take that particular one. It worked out, but in the moment, I did not like that.
Yeah, look, he's just searching for something to go well for him right now, right? I think that's basically all that you can say. And Nurse reiterated after the game, like, he will benefit from, he's a guy that operates off of the other, the top of the roster type players, right? So when he's not in so much of a maybe third option type role that he's in right now, and it's more of that fifth option role, that hopefully things start to correct themselves a little bit.
I think we had probably the best games from both Adem and Drummond that we've seen in the preseason. Overall, what did you make of it? And I guess, did Nurse say anything about either of them?
Yeah, well, I asked Nurse about Bona specifically, because he had the sequence, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 minutes into the game, where he had 2 consecutive just like true verticality quality defensive plays, right? Where he goes straight up, walls off the rim, no foul, stops the magic. And you contrast that against his biggest problem, the cheap fouls, right? And so Nurse talked, and he said this in the best. Nurse talked about trying to lean toward aggression with Bona because you have to in order to get the crazy block shots and the above the rim plays and to tap into that athleticism. They haven't wanted to sap him of what makes him different from some other bigs around the league. And it's a fine line to walk, but it's about getting in the film room, right, and showing him, look, you don't need to reach in. Even Tyrese Maxey talked after the game about he goes to a dem and he's like, brother, you just can't do that, right? Like, keep your hands back. It's one thing, I think, when they see, hey, it's a 50-50 play at the rim. He's going for a block shot. Maybe you get somebody on the wrist going for the ball. I think those are fouls they'll live with. When you're fouling, for example, Wendell Carter Jr. on a mid-range jumper, that's not going to cut it, right? When you're reaching in on a guy driving across the face of the defense, 12 feet away from the basket, they're not going to live with those, right? So if you can cut down those, I think if he still ends up in foul trouble, but they're the right sort of fouls where you get your money's worth, I think everyone will be happy. I mean, as far as Drummond goes, I guess he's a floor spacer now. He's shooting pretty damn well in the preseason. I actually looked it up in the middle of the game. The last time he hit 2 threes in a game was in 2020, and did it twice in the month of February in 2020. I'm not saying that that's what caused the entire world to shut down in March, but we might want to keep an eye on this, fellas.
As if I didn't have enough to worry about already. Thank you, Kyle.
Well, Kyle, on a Friday night, watching that game and getting the story in and all that, we're going to let you go, man. Make sure you enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe out there, and we'll catch up with you on Monday right here at 3 o'clock, man. Thanks.
See you guys.
You got it. Kyle Neubeck joining us from the Xfinity mobile call-in line as the Sixers fall tonight 0-3 after a loss to the Orlando Magic, 128-98. I didn't realize it was a 34-8.
Yeah, the end was
fourth
not
quarter.
good. The end was not good.
We were too busy writing things up, getting ready for the show. Didn't realize it was a 34-8. All right, a few last ones before we get out of here. Said I wanted to ask you about the 2 rookies and then a second-year player. We got to the Justin Edwards part, so I already know how you feel about there. But Hunter Sallis, man, we were very intrigued by his 2-way addition in the offseason after the draft. It has not gone well for him through the summer league and now through the preseason games that he's gotten minutes.
Yeah.
He's gonna need the G League.
Yeah. And look, I mean, that's why you're on a 2-way.
Yeah.
So you can go down there and get that experience. Of the 3 2-way guys, he clearly looks like the one who's the farthest away from contributing, which probably isn't a huge shock. He's got the least experience out of the 3 of them. But yeah, I mean, look, I guess the most you can say is he got some shots up.
He did. He got some minutes. He got some shots up. He played tonight. What did he play? 34 minutes tonight. 3 for 12. Yeah, get those shots up, man. You know, he did some okay things early, and then it just started to tail off as the minutes kept going on. 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal to go along with the 7 points. So good for him to get that opportunity. I'd imagine he's going to play a little bit more next Friday as well. And
next Friday could be
34 minutes again. Yeah, for him. And then we'll see what it looks like for him on the 2-way with the Sixers and certainly the other part with the Delaware Blue Coats. So I just wanted to make sure that we address that because he is one that we saw in Game 1. We didn't see him in Game 2, I don't believe. In Game 3 here, he saw a lot of time. And he still looks like he needs some work to be done.
He does.
I do like the
he's
profile, though.
Yeah. And he's an older rookie.
He is.
22 going on 23. But there's still just something we said for experience. And this all being new and fresh to him. Not only from a team concept, but just from the athletes and the players he's got to go up against.
Yeah, and we were excited to talk to him in the summer. He was really good. He was really cool. Just the insight that he brought to what he's trying to bring, what he's learning, what he's trying to do to play and stay in the league. And unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. But he's going to get that 2-way time, hopefully, and see how it works out for him with both the Sixers and the Blue Coats, and we'll see how it goes. All right, before we get out of here, man, I saw a lot of people talking about it, so we have to talk about it. They actually went into overtime, San Antonio and Utah. It's a 122 game, preseason overtime games.
Mhm.
No thank you. But with that said, Ace had another good game, man.
He did.
18 points, 7 for 10, 2 for 4 from 3, 6 boards, 1 assist. Ace Bailey looked pretty good again tonight against the San Antonio Spurs, who did not play their guys, but Carter Bryant was out there. Some other pros with some experience were out there on the floor as well. But for a second consecutive game, you got a good Ace Bailey outing.
Yeah. And look, we're obviously not going to go too deep into this, in part because we only have 4 minutes left on the show, but also in part because I didn't watch it, because we were here watching the Sixers game, podcasting about it. Just looking at a stat sheet, but 7 of 10 from the field, 2 for 4 from three-point range, 6 rebounds. Overall, looks like a good night, and I'll be interested to go back and watch it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what it looked like. You know, we're going to see the highlights and all, and you want to see the things that he did poorly on the floor that he has to correct. But being out there, 4 personal fouls, playing against a different type of lineup than we saw with the Houston Rockets the other day. But we said it, 1 game, now it's 2 games where he's played well. So he's putting together some pretty good tape there for the Utah Jazz coaching staff to feel good about. And most importantly, for the player to feel good and confident about what he can do and what he can provide out there on the floor. So good on Ace Bailey. We'll see how it goes. Preseason overtime. No thank you.
Does bum me out that we got no Dylan Harper, though.
I know. And how long is he supposed to be out? Like 2 months?
Yeah, a little while.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Also, Phoenix played a little bit earlier. They lost in overtime to the Brooklyn Nets. Oh, all those guards, man. Nolan Traore got the start, though, over the other guards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got the start. And Saraf played. Also got Danny Wolf got some minutes as well. Did not see our guy from BYU. I don't think he played. No, he did not play in this one. So I don't know if he's injured. I don't know what's going on with the Brooklyn Nets, but a lot of point guards on that team. A
lot of point guards and a lot of turnovers. They had 32 turnovers in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, look, young guards struggle, like almost to a fault. Like all of them struggle. And to put so much into 5 draft picks, 4 of them ball handlers, 3 of them literal point guards. That is going to be an experience.
Yep.
Not sure it's going to be a good experience, but it'll be an experience.
Igor Demon. We'll see what happens with him from BYU. All right, let's get to it. Let's close things out. Post game on a Friday night. Preseason action. It's the world famous. It's the roll call.
Oh, I did not do any prep. I didn't write down any names.
I thought that's what you were doing over
apologize.
there.
Nope. I completely. I haven't. I do these like once every 3 months, and I just freaking blanked. I apologize.
Just run
We
through the
will
ones
start
you see.
off with Winona there at the top. Always there. We'll also start off with Mom.
Hey, Nona. Hey, Mom.
How you doing, Mom? Robert Leo, Vincent Salamentino, Terrence Z. Knights.
What up, Terrence?
Win Forever.
Got to win forever, man.
Mr. Midrange.
The only way to go.
Theo in there as well.
What up,
Edward
Theo?
King. Scroll up. Oh, this is awful. Said Robert Leo. I got to remember who I said already.
Music
Scrolling
Lover
up.
31 was in
Raheem.
there.
We saw Raheem. Music Lover 31. I know
Saw
Jess was in
Raheem.
here earlier. Tom Jackson
Purple
is
Heart.
in there.
Yes.
AA Ron, you
What
done
up,
messed
Aaron?
up. The one person who I wish we still had the old names
You done
for.
messed up.
You done messed up, AA Ron.
Yes.
I said Theo. I'm scrolling up. I think I'm probably about to run out. Who else was
You know
in
what? We're
here?
about
Brian
to run
Knight.
out.
Brian
B-Knight.
Knight. SB Cole.
What up, SB?
Oh, this is awful.
Citizen X was in there with
I
the super
suck
chat.
so
Let's
bad.
open up a chat line on the live where we can call in at the same time. We just need 2 minutes. Stay tuned, Citizen X. Stay tuned. With that, Citizen X, thank you so much for the super chat and your interaction throughout the show. Mark Jackson, Theo, Densley, Richard, all of you.
Oh, Densley, of course.
Sean, we see you.
I remember Densley because I was interacting with Densley a little bit.
Yes, indeed. So
Well-
make sure you go like and subscribe. Rich P Fusion, like and subscribe to the show. Hit the like button and subscribe. And when you do, it'll alert you. It's showtime. Sound like this.
Well,
And you'll know that it is
hopefully better than
showtime.
that.
Back next week on Monday, 3 p.m. all week long. Friday post game. Have a good weekend. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.